welcome to Copernicus Corner. I am back in Watcher of Realms at the moment, and just kind of looking around and seeing what I'm doing. I've got some raids running in the background for artifact materials, and I'm gonna go over to the storyline here. It looks like we've got something to do in the Meteor Hunter. Obtain 50 flawless meteorites from artifact material rates, and so we're gonna claim that for a huge stamina potion. That'll come in handy, I'm sure. And then, I think back to the storyline, and we needed 30 of the arena coins. I may as well go and finish that up. We're at 27 out of 30, so even if we lose, it doesn't matter. We'll still get the 3 points that we need. So, that's good, because we will lose. Alright, so let's do Ovenru. He's got some folks there. One of the folks he has is Arrogance, and one of them is Ajax. See, I recognize those. Then he has Dao Chan, and then a couple of people that I don't know who are. I recognize that Frost Giant guy. Seen him, but I don't know who he is. The Egyptian dude? Nothing. I got nothing. I have no idea who that is. But let's go ahead and try him anyway. Venro. And the monsters are 301,168 BP, which doesn't bode well for me. That's alright. I don't mind. So, we can successfully lose this fight, I feel. I'm thinking about this for a moment. Do I want to wait and stick? Yeah, I think I will. I'll go ahead and put Arrogance out first. Yeah, we'll just try to pile up on Arrogance at first and then throw Etro out at the end of that. Etro's DPS is negligible comparatively, so let's try this direction and see how that goes. Now, of course, I'm bringing Wrath along just because Wrath will boost Arrogance a little bit, so that's his whole purpose in this. And then we'll put Dao Chan out next, right now, with the goal of being in DPS mode, of course, immediately. And then maybe next. It's a hard thing. Do I do Pedro or do I do next? I think I'm gonna go ahead and do Pedro next. We're gonna face her up. The main thing she's going to be dealing with is the ones who get by. That's where her primary, I think that's where her primary DPS comes in anyway. And so that's the way we're going to do this. And the next question is, which one would be better for immediate return on this, as far as Arrogance goes. I'm going to go ahead and do Laurel. I'm not sure if Laurel's the right option, but we're going to do it anyway. Try to kill these guys sooner, ideally, than they kill that one, but we can't. We just could not quite make the cut. It's alright. Going to lay Wrath out next. It doesn't actually matter where Wrath goes, because Wrath is only there to boost up the quality of Arrogance, because basically we want his DPS to go up by that extra little amount there. Still debating whether it's worthwhile to have Etro at all, or whether I should just put another member of Nightmare to try to boost Arrogance a little bit more. So we're gonna wait on all of these guys to go by where Etro can hit, and once they have, then I will use her ultimate to hit them a little bit more. Put that back in double time. And then Laurel's rage regen comes into play. 2 random allies, 4% rage increase every 2 seconds, lasting 12 seconds. So it's not too bad. Unfortunately, we're getting slaughtered. Knew it would happen. There was very little doubt of it, but it wasn't a complete wipe. You know, we did do a little bit of damage to Ovenru, or Ovenru, one or the other. All right, now we got the 3 arena coins that we needed. We also got 4 Duel of Champions coins, so excellent. Now, if you'll look here, you'll see that Arrogance did 6,191 million, 6,191,530 damage, whereas Eagle did 610,095 damage, which is a 10th of what Arrogance did. So the question becomes, would it have been better to simply give him the boost from Wrath for putting another Nightmare in than what we did? It's, you know, it's a difficult thing. I'm not 100% sure. If I go over here, you'll see on Wrath, his Lord skill says, increases faction team members' basic attributes by 10%. Now that's already there. We already have that. The advantage we get would be from this 10% on the next of attack speed, because it says every time a faction team member is deployed, all deployed faction team members gain 5%, 10%, 20%, and 35% attack speed respectively, up to 35%. We have gotten to the 10% by just having Wrath and Arrogance. 20% is the next step, so that's 10% more DPS that Arrogance would be doing than he is doing right now. That is a significant amount. Well, it's 10% more attack speed. It's just his attack speed would be 10% faster. Would that be significant? You know, like who else do we have in the Nightmare faction? You know, we have Greed. He can do some DPS, and also he can add to that bonus. Would it be a good idea, perhaps, to throw Greed out instead of Eagle? I think there's an argument to be made that he would be a better choice. I don't know. I think there's some degree of possibility that that would be the way to go. Let's see if we have anything we can do to him, make him a little better. Not really looking great. He also gives magic resistance reduction with his AoE magic attack. That's his basic attack. That's pretty good. 50% chance of increasing the range or inflicting magic resistance reduction on the target for 4 seconds. Interesting. And he also can slow them down, which could be helpful. I feel like maybe he is the right way to go, instead of Eagle, who is of questionable use in those. She's really good if the person is significantly lower for getting things down fast, but if they're higher, perhaps Greed is the way to go. He costs 25 to get out. That's the key thing about him, though. He's very expensive. He would be out last, regardless. I don't know. It's something I need to consider, though, because I feel like it's a possibility that it could be good. This is interesting here that he has on a healing thing. I clearly just threw whatever I had on him. Okay, this is for experience rates. That's probably not going to be useful most of the time. Let's see if I actually have anything. Nothing happens. Oh, there we go. It's because it's over here. Boy, I'm something, aren't I? Okay. Well, alright. That one is already on someone, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I can look at some of these who are on other people because, you know, some of them, even though they're on someone else, it's not as though they can't be moved. Restores 3% rage when killing the target. That's actually... It's actually not a bad idea, and I'm not currently using Phelan for anything. Now, see, this is cool. When shielded, increases attack by 10%. Not for him, but it's cool in general. I think I may throw this on. I can always go back and add something onto Phelan later. It increases his rage, so that I feel like that might be a good thing to do. Alright. Let's get out of there. Let's click this check mark here. We got 72,590 gold, 21,780 XP potions, 12 flawless meteorites, 81 radiant meteorites, 104 mithril, and 396 brave conquest points for that run. Let's go back over to the storyline where we can claim these 20 diamonds for finishing those 30 arena coins. Now, okay, make 2 purchases in the black market of the Dwarven Association. We get 10,000 gold for that. Well, I don't really want to purchase any of these items, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of my free refreshes for the day. And see if there's anything here I'm interested in. It's not looking wonderful, so let's refresh again. That's the second refresh of the day, and again, I'm not as impressed as I want to be, so let's refresh one more time. Well, continue to be unimpressed. I could, however, just get these 2 insignias of whatever they are for 5,000 each, and that's the 10,000 that I'm going to get back anyway. Or I could get some of these fellows here who I wonder why this guy is so expensive. I guess because he's green and not gray. But anyway, so I could get a couple of them, or I could get a couple of these insignias. The insignias are super easy to come by, or I could not do either one and finish that part of the quest line later, which is kind of what I'm leaning toward at the moment. Alright, well, let's go look at events real fast. We got the Immortal Codex over here, which is pretty cool. Let's enter. Actually, let's look at the shop again. I did this earlier, and I've now forgotten what there is. Okay, so there's a good number of cool things there. I mean, really, all of it is pretty cool. We could get 3 of these ancient summoning crystals, for instance, just what we have right now. It's not bad. I think we're going to need some ancient summoning crystals for an upcoming banner, maybe on the 15th. Let's go to enter. And let's see, like, what is this, I wonder? I've forgotten. The Conqueror periodically summons a multitude of undead creatures. Conqueror continuously enhances the undead's attributes. Remains impervious to enemy attacks, but shares HP with his summoned creature. Allied heroes increase attack speed significantly. And got after entering the boss rush phase, the Conqueror will open the Colossal Nethergate and summon a tremendous number of formidable subordinates. Okay, I remember that happening. When the Conqueror enters the battlefield, he'll open the melee gate and summon his former subordinates to return. Basked in the Conqueror's majesty, every subordinate gains a boost for every 20 seconds on the battlefield, increasing their attack and size. So we're going to kill them off right away. And his life total is shared with his subordinates. Okay. Let's look at this here. Alright, so he is standing there. We have all of these things. We've got Rippers, Baron Salem, Carrion Chomper, Tower Shield Skeletons, Arrows Guards, Skeletal Soldiers, Skeletal Executioners, and Sandtaker and Skeletal Giant Shielders in this map. Let's go ahead and go to Challenge and look and see what we have here. Okay, so we've got some of the normal folks. I think that let's go ahead and try it. We suggested BP is 162,000 for this stage. Current BP of my team is 308,447. Let's go ahead and have a look here. I think we can put... Okay. Maybe we put Arrogance here. And then we put in behind him as usual. We can put patron here. And then we can put Xena over here. And then the weak sides are going to be the ones that aren't the center. So let's put... Okay, who do we have over there? We have Xena over there. She's going to do DPS for a minute. We could put... I think we could put... I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we put somebody in front of him, Idrin, then it's going to block the other guy's ability to do anything. So let's not do that. And in fact, I think there's a better placement for all this, but we'll put Wrath there for now. And how about we just put Baron here? Probably not the best arrangement at all, by any stretch of the imagination, but that's okay. It's what we'll do for now, and then we'll figure it out a little better in a minute. So far, we'll just kind of watch, watch and wait, pretty much. Here comes these Baron Salems, happily waltzing along toward our folks. Aim's whole purpose back there is just to buff Arrogance every time that his ultimate comes up. So we've got this this boss popped back up. We're in the boss rush mode now, and this is where we'll begin to have people start to pile up and overrun the barrier and things like this. And this is where you get your rating and all that. Last time I got an F, I think, or maybe I got a C. I'm not sure. I got an F or a C on this. It wasn't great. I don't know that I'll do any better this time. like I said, I'm not sure that the placement was particularly grand. I feel like um, maybe I could have put Wrath behind the barrier. Maybe I could have taken up Xena and laid her back out. Um, kind of failed on all of those counts. It would be good if we could um, get her where she could come out a little faster somehow. You know, that way when I pull her up, I could get her back out more easily. We lost Baron there. Wrath is still going strong. But we can, probably will have time to put him back out. Well, no, the gates are falling, so I don't know that we will have time to put him back out. Yeah, this is the end of it, folks. It was a good run. Alright, overwhelmed. We need more DPS to be able to get through that. It says that's our new record, so that's good. Highest score updated. Cool. Good to know. Tier breakthrough failed. No rewards this time. Yeah. That is because we made a C last time too, I think. So we have improved apparently somehow, but not improved enough to actually matter. Alright, let's try that again. And maybe position things a little bit differently. Like, let's go ahead. You know, I'm not sure if it was better or worse to do it that way. We could even put them here and have them be the first barrier. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Let's just try it and see what happens, though. Could be fun. Let's go Baron in front of Arrogance, and then we can still put. I wonder if we put aim here. Is there anything about this that's a good idea? That's the question. What if we don't put in here? What if we put feature in here and then put aim behind him? Yeah, I don't know about this at all. This is sketchy. Real sketchy. Trumpeting Wrath over here. And then let's put Xena out, but let's pay attention to the time. So if we put her out, we look at the time, we got about 5 o'clock, or not 5 o'clock, but 5 minutes we need to pick her back up so that she can fully do her thing. Pay attention to the countdown, and then we'll pick her up as soon as necessary, which is in another 5 minutes. He kind of is neutered at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think this was necessarily the best deployment choice, but I don't know, maybe more, maybe it's doing better than I think it is. We'll see. It seems to me that from here, only, I don't know, got a bit of a slow situation because they're building up on Baron. You knew that would happen. It's not all that surprising. And now he has died, he's come back up, and I summon his portal for the boss rush. I'm gonna have a good number of them pop out of these portals and come beat on our fence. But the good news is, we're gonna have Xena out in a moment to do something about this field over here. And then we'll find out if this is better or worse here pretty soon. Wrath does amazing healing as long as he is able to smite things with his sword. I wonder if it would have been... Well, no, I think it's fine as is probably there. I probably could have done better by putting aim... I don't know. Let's see. Maybe if I had put aim behind Baron, that might have been better. I'm not really sure. Kind of hard to say. We're at the sea again, so either way, we've been halfway decent in that regard. Got a couple down on our folks there. It's not great. It's definitely beating upon the wall pretty steadily. So, better, worse. Better. Because look at that. That's a B. B is better than C. I learned this back in grade school. You learn this. It's even better than an S. Alright. So, high score was updated, and we got a check mark, right? It's good times. We got 200 of these immortal sovereigns as well. Now let's challenge again, and this time I think I'll change that a little bit. Let's put aim. Okay. So there was something to be said for putting Arrogance out front with Baron in front of him. Putting Wrath to the side was fine. And I feel like putting Idrin here was also good. Then we're gonna this time put aim behind Wrath. And I don't know if that's the right way to go with this or not. Let's go ahead and throw Xena out as soon as the next wave starts, so that we can get her full effect right here until about 5 minutes, and then we'll pick her up. That worked fine before. So at about 5 minutes, we pick her up. Now what I see is one issue, of course, is that Idrin is sort of, he's sort of castrated back here. He's not able to do anything. And what I need is a way for him to be able to do something. And the way in question might be to move him. Maybe remove everybody up front of the barricade. I don't know. It's an idea. Gotta try it and see if it's better or worse. So I feel like we're losing out on DPS during this entire portion here, at the very least. And the problem is, I don't know. Well, it's difficult to say. Well, we'll see. But there's a possibility that we move the whole thing up. And that's not exactly even what I mean. Arrogance shoots a good ways ahead. I forgot to pick Xena up, which is a problem. This won't be a good demonstration due to that, but that's okay. There she went down. Made it to see again anyway. So there's that. Arrogance is getting beaten on pretty solidly. We had somebody else, Baron went down. Now it's just Idrin and Ain, and that won't really last very long. So, okay, now different attempt is going to be made. All right, that was not the highest points. We know that. Let's look real fast and see what happened here. Arrogance did 27 million. Adrian did 14 million. Wrath did 9 million. And Xena, she didn't do so well, partially because she was not picked up when she should have been and redeployed. That is definitely an issue to think about. There's something else to be said for her in that she can be thrown out and then immediately picked up, because this would increase her damage overall. And I just kind of thought of that. That's a possibility, and maybe it's something I should consider. But let's challenge again and give it a go. And I think maybe what I want to do is I want to put Arrogance out here, Idrin in front of him, followed by Baron in front of... we can't get Baron in front of him. That's a problem. Okay. So if that's what we're doing, then how about Arrogance in front of Aim, Baron matter, in front of Aim. And then, hold on, maybe Wrath. Yeah. I don't know, that may not work out very well, but we're gonna see if it does. And then 540 is where we were at there. I don't really think she's necessary for this first thing. You see, every time she gets deployed, she does some good stuff for 30 seconds, and then, but she also gets a benefit every time that she gets deployed. So what if I just pick her up right away? And the next time she comes out, she'll be stronger. Seems like it could be fun. Didn't really need to do that yet, it occurs to me, but hey, whatever. May as well go ahead and use these. He's going to be down in a moment. Could have waited. We've got another 13 seconds on Xena, and then she'll be able to come back out, which is great. Glorious. It would probably have made more sense, it occurs to me, to put Xena behind Baron, because he's the slowest of the ones. And I feel like Xena out DPS is Aim probably in this for the amount of time that she's out. I'm not sure. It's hard to say for certain. But the other option is we could do the same arrangement but behind the barricade. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a better way to do it or not. But I do know that at this point I'm just going to be hitting the ultimates every time they're up. There's so many of them that they're overwhelming Aim. They've hit past Baron, and they got on aim, and then they are beating on that barricade already. So aim is down, but we're at a C rating right now. If I had time to get him back out, I think I'd put him in front of the soul shard back there. Definitely too many are getting through for this to work out very well, and the gate is almost down. So I don't think it's any, in fact, it's worse than the first time. So what if we built our wall behind the barricade as we've done before? Would that be helpful? I don't know. We can try it. Do essentially the same kind of wall. Pros and cons. And I think maybe Xena should go behind. Okay, this time I did Arrogance behind Edron, which makes some sense in some ways. Then, probably Xena can go behind Wrath. Xena can go behind Baron rather. And I don't need him out first. I would need, I think, Wrath out first. Aim behind Wrath. And then Baron. With Xena behind Baron. And then, though, I want to immediately pick up Xena. So that she's ready when we have the bigger fight. Of course, the barricade will go down a little more slowly than it did before. I don't need his ultimate right now. So I will hold on to any ultimates until we go into the boss mode. Patience and all that. Let's go ahead and double time this. We have taken a little bit of damage to the barricades already. But I think this might ultimately allow us to have a little bit more time than we did before. So let's throw Xena out now. Maybe not yet. Maybe we wait until they start hitting the gate, and now. Alright, and now we can start blowing up these ultimates. And try to keep that barricade up for a second longer. Problem is, when the barricade goes down, it's gonna be a bum rush, it's gonna be bad. How long can the DPS engine go? We don't know. Now there's another option where we could put Arrogance and Edron side by side. And if we did that, then they could both be hitting the same people in the middle. Probably, but neither of them would be getting their full hit. I don't know if that would be better or not. Right now they're hitting the same people, but primarily, I don't know, I feel like this is probably the better one of the options. Now that barricade's almost gone now, so unfortunately they're coming through. And once they come through, it's all over, because there's no further yeah, that's as good as she gets, you know. So we got another victory and we got another C. We've had a lot of ability to get C, but it has not been hopeful. We got a B the one time with a different arrangement. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's much better that I can get done on that than what I did. So gonna look at the stats just to see how things look. Looks like Ejin did the most, followed by Arrogance, then Wrath, and then Xena there, and of course Aim and Baron. The other question then becomes, should I try adding somebody to increase Arrogance's DPS instead? Let's go to challenge and look and see again, because I always forget, who do we have in this? Anybody that I put out who's in the Nightmare faction is going to increase Arrogance's DPS. So I could take out Aim, put in Gluttony, for instance. Maybe this would be worthwhile. We're now at four Nightmare guys, and that's the most that we can have that'll be helpful. Let's try it and just see if that's better or worse. One way to find out. Alright, now I think that Arrogance at the back may be the way to go with this. We do, you know, I don't know, there's an argument to be had for putting him at the front and for even putting them side by side. But for now, we're going to try it like this and see how it goes. We would put Baron here. Or no, yes, is this Baron? No, this is Wrath. So Wrath here. I don't know how far ahead. Okay, so Gluttony can only hit one ahead. Let's try putting him here. And let's put Baron next down here. And then let's throw Xena out just long enough to pick Xena up. And let's just see what that looks like. Problem is, I don't know, I'm not sure about this. Part of the issue is, Arrogance can only hit very far in a straight line. He can hit a little bit other guys. I wonder if I switched them around, would that be better? Gluttony's gotten a couple of hits in. I'm not, I don't really have him there for his DPS because I don't think he's got a lot of DPS he's going to throw in. But maybe I'm wrong. I haven't really used him, so it's hard to say. So far, I'm not sure how I feel about how this is going. We'll see. It's not, the trouble is, Arrogance can only do so many attacks at once. He's only one guy, We don't have Baron in a position where he's going to be blocking anyone. That's another thing. Let's go ahead and throw Xena out there. it's really a DPS check more than it is anything else. And I'm not super convinced that we've got it. I can use that for what it's worth, I suppose. I should have paid attention to what the overall DPS done was, or what the overall damage was last time, but it didn't really do that. And if we make it to a B, then we'll know this is better. But if we still are stuck on C, well, that's the same thing as before. It doesn't matter. Of course, we had a B earlier, and that was no better either. The gate is definitely going down, the barricade, and of course, once it goes, it's a game over situation. There it is. Yeah, it's not helpful. I don't know if that's better or worse than the last attempt. It was a victory. It was a C, but it was less good than our best move was. Not sure. Okay, let's go to next, and then let's look at the stats on that. Gluttony did very well. He did a good amount of damage, all things considered. So that's definitely something to consider. We'll rearrange things. Okay, I got one more attempt in me before I've got to get going. I've got some real life commitments to make, but I wonder if we spread out Arrogance and I don't know. That's a tough call there. The thing is that if I'm going to put Baron back anyway, he's not extremely helpful, honestly, because he is just a tank. But I don't know that I have anything that would be more helpful than he is, if that makes sense. I mean, let's look and see what we have in the way of fighters. And if anybody would be better. And I don't really think so. I mean, we could put aim in. We could try that. We could try putting aim back in instead. Oh no, we would lose. We would lose the boost. No, I don't think that's useful. If Demos was leveled up a bit, that might would be good. But as it is, all he would do is be another nightmare guy. Baron can just be another nightmare guy. That's not helpful. Any of these guys do anything amazing? I mean, we've got Regulus. I can't imagine that he would be super helpful under these circumstances. He's really good, but of course, it's another possibility we could give a go to, which would be to just, do 3 tanks and 3 DPS behind them. I don't think it'll work, but I could try it. I could put out Livian. Okay, so there's also this one, Isolde. I haven't really done anything much with Isolde, but we could give it a go. right? So we have those two, and then Baron, and then we line up Arrogance, Edrin, and Wrath. In which case, who do we put first? Okay. It would almost have to be, basically have to be Wrath in the middle, Adrian on the inside, and Wrath on the middle. No other way to do it. Alright, well, let's try it real quick. Okay, so we would do Arrogance, and then it doesn't really matter whether we do Edrin there or if we do Edrin up top, or we put Ralph on the other side, whichever the case may be. Now, primarily, Arrogance is going to be hitting in front. Oh, wait, we don't want to put him there because we need Isolde there. I think she gives a boost to the people on either side of her. I believe. Hopefully.
Just casually handling it.
Let's put Baron in front of Edrin because Baron does hardly any DPS and Edrin does a good amount. So we need somebody behind him who can knock things out a little faster. Alright, so Isolde, when activated, applies block increase, physical damage reduction, and magic damage reduction to all allies in skill range, which is great, except that I'm not really sure. I'm not sure that that's going to matter a great deal. Just because the trouble is they're getting overwhelmed. There's just too many to get through. But having tanks, you know, the defenders can block 3 each instead of only being able to block 2 each, like the fighters. Morale increases max HP by 45% and absorbs 40% damage taken by adjacent allies for 12 seconds, which is pretty cool. I should probably be able to cycle through those. They will assist each other to a degree. I see that we're definitely running into a problem whereby Wrath can't hit through ridiculous. And so they're going to have to just pile up on him and then walk on by. That's not particularly useful, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's going to be a problem because in all reality, they're just going to waltz on by, and then they're going to be on Wrath.
On the spaceship. What's the red?
Now, if Wrath can slow him down, then that won't really be an issue. So far, I haven't actually needed to use any of their ultimates because they're just triggering easily. In the position that they are, Ethan's not getting the full effect of his things. So maybe actually I would want to put Arrogance. Maybe I'm going to put Arrogance to one side and Adrian in the middle. I'm not sure. We can get to D pretty easily. We can get to C consistently, no matter what the choices are as far as what I do. Things are starting to pile up at this point, and it doesn't really, you know, it's not going to matter a great deal. Guess I can click all of their ultimates. What they're worth, right? It's about to drop that wall, and there's just not really anything to do about it. To get to a B, that's something to be said for that. Is it better or worse of a B than my previous B? I think it was not as good of a B as before. Maybe I can do one more time. That was not updated. It's fine. Let's challenge one more time. Because I want to see what happens if I put Ethan in the middle and Arrogance to the side. Because it occurs to me, I think that it doesn't really matter. And you know what? If I switched Wrath out with Xena, that might work. So we'll start first. We'll do Arrogance, Ethan, and Wrath. And then all of these kind of boost each other to a large degree, so I don't think it matters too much where they go. Put her here and him here, and then Baron here. And again, the trouble is, Baron is such low DPS. Then again, so is Regulus. Livian is higher DPS, and I foolishly put her in front of Arrogance. Should have put Livian in front of Wrath, probably. I feel like that would have made more sense. They are taking a little bit of damage. Wrath is. But Wrath will self-heal to a large degree as well. That Baron DPS though. And when I said Wrath a minute ago about taking the damage, she meant Baron. Humorously enough. Kind of waiting for him to pile up, and then I'm going to use Idrin's ultimate. I'll use Regulus's. And now I'm going to use Idrin's. Use Baron's again, because he's kind of suffering over there. And let's go ahead and use Isolde's as well. Baron is taking some hits over there. I'm very interested in what if I had Xena over there instead of Wrath. Because unfortunately, Wrath just kind of can't do anything for the longest time in these fights because of his range, which is abysmal. So that's an issue. The wall is crumbling quickly over here. Arrogance went down. We're out of B, but it's the end of this. So no good. Our heavy damage dealers were down. So we made it to B, but not great, I think. Okay, well it did make the highest score. That's something, I guess. I think though. I'm going to click this button, and then I'm going to change out Xena for Wrath. Ooh, I can't. Because Wrath is the only one. Okay, but what if Wrath was in front of Bad? Wrath is the Lord, so I can't remove him. But if Wrath was in front of Baron, that might could work. Okay, I said one more time a minute ago. I'm going to actually mean it this time. I've said that twice now. This is number 3. Third time's the charm. This is the last attempt for now. Alright, so then we stick Edrin here. Then we stick Arrogance. Now we're gonna actually put Wrath here. Whether it's a good idea or not. I'll put Baron behind him. And then Livian is probably the highest DPS of the 3 now. Whether she needs to be here or not, I'm not sure. But of the 3 tanks, I feel like she may be the best DPS. Not sure. And I keep calling her Livian. She's actually Isolde. I think I have enough time to go ahead and use this for Adrian, possibly, and then it'll be back up during the next fight. By the time things start getting a little hairy. I don't know how far out his AoE reaches. He casts a shield that absorbs damage equals 90% of his max health for 10 seconds, and when the shield disappears or gets broken, it does AoE damage one time. Not really sure the details of how that works. I am fairly sure that I shouldn't have done it yet. That's okay. I'm just interested to see the way this works anyway, and whether Wrath's self-heal can keep him up significantly. And of course he also has Isolde, who will be putting a shield on him as well. We can put a shield on him. And she is getting injured, for sure. Now what should happen is that they should pile up on Wrath and then go on through and then be on Baron and then get hit by Ethan a little more. Well, not more, I suppose. But continue, I guess, to get hit by Ethan. They're starting to pile up, so we use his ability there. And then I can't really see how things are looking. I think that people are on Baron, so we used his ability. Definitely having people come through at the bottom there, where Regulus is. Regulus is not high DPS. We'll go ahead and just be blowing up the ultimates at this point whenever they're available. The gate is still up decently at this point. It's going to be going down soon enough up here. So it's taking a lot of damage right now. But we did make the B rating, and we're staying in the fight for the moment. Not for long, but he's going to get his ultimate off. Maybe enough to kill a couple more before the ultimate ends in a second. So we got 123 kills, it looked like, on that, which is pretty good. New record, very nice. Alright, so that was definitely the way to go there. We got 282,163 from that. I'll take it. You know what? That's not bad. Alright, cool. Well, just look at the stats on this real fast. Not bad. Not bad. And maybe with a little bit more finagling, we could get there a little bit longer. I'm not sure. And of course, possibly putting some more, I don't know, maybe rearranging some gear and things, getting some better artifacts, stuff like that would help. Not sure. I think it went well. Alright, cool. So we would have needed another 77,837 points in order to get to the next tier. But I feel like we did very well. Maybe not, phenomenal, but Hey, top 86%, man, I'll take it, you know? It's acceptable. Alright, but I have got to go and do some things in real life. If you're not following me yet, be sure to follow me and turn on notifications so that you can see next time I go live. Hopefully, I will see you in a few hours. Have a good one.